What if I told you that the single most devastating, life-shortening physical error you could ever commit after the age of 60 or 70 is to look at your daily digital blood pressure monitor, read an elevated systolic number of 150 or 160, and assume that your cardiovascular system is simply running on bad luck, genetic predisposition, or the unavoidable structural decay of growing older? Instead, what if the true, clinically proven medical reality behind your fluctuating blood pressure numbers has almost nothing to do with your heart muscle being inherently broken or failing? What if, instead, your heart is simply trapped in a desperate, heroic, full-body emergency survival mode, forced to pump with immense explosive pressure purely because your peripheral blood vessels have stiffened into rigid garden hoses, and your biological fluid highways are drowning in a silent epidemic of stagnation? For millions of older adults across the world today, crossing the chronological milestone of age 60 marks a dark, frustrating, and deeply anxious transition in their personal healthcare journey. It almost always begins with absolute subtlety. You sit down in your doctor's office for a routine annual examination. The nurse wraps that tight black nylon blood pressure cuff around your upper arm, inflates it until your pulse throb rings out, and then looks at you with a serious, concerned expression. She reads off numbers that immediately send a spike of cold anxiety straight into your chest. 145/90, 155/95, sometimes even higher. Your physician walks in, skims your chart, shakes their head, and immediately reaches for their prescription pad. They tell you that you have developed chronic hypertension. They hand you a slip of paper for a lifelong daily chemical intervention, perhaps a beta blocker, an ACE inhibitor, or a harsh calcium channel blocker. They tell you to cut out table salt, buy a home blood pressure monitor, and accept the narrative that your cardiovascular framework is officially wearing out. You go home. You swallow those pills every single morning, and yet you notice a highly frustrating pattern. Your blood pressure numbers continue to swing wildly up and down. Even worse, you start experiencing a whole new list of debilitating daily side effects that leave you feeling completely exhausted, continuously lightheaded when you stand up too fast, and struggling with a strange, heavy fluid swelling that pools permanently around your lower ankles and feet by 6 p.m. every evening. Most seniors quietly brush these warning signs off. They assume that living with chronic cardiovascular anxiety, feeling cold in their fingers and toes, and draining their natural daily energy is just the standard tax you have to pay for staying alive after a certain age. They accept the dangerous misconception that their blood vessels are just too old to improve, so they sit more, worry more, and slowly watch their physical world shrink. But as a physician specializing in restorative medicine and systemic longevity, I am standing here today to completely challenge that outdated medical narrative with absolute, unassailable clinical evidence. Your biological framework is not a linear machine destined to rust out and fail the moment you celebrate a specific birthday. In advanced vascular medicine, we look closely at the underlying fluid dynamics and neurological control centers of the human body. Your heart is an incredibly smart, highly adaptive muscular pump. It does not blindly elevate your blood pressure out of malice or mechanical failure. If your systolic pressure is high, it is because your heart is encountering a massive, dangerous wall of fluid resistance further down the line. It is screaming for help. It is working overtime because your peripheral circulatory channels are closed off, choked by hours of immobility, cellular sodium saturation, and a total breakdown of your body's natural arterial relaxation mechanisms. Today, in this comprehensive, three-part medical blueprint, we are going to completely tear down the traditional walls of misinformation. We are going to examine the true, root-cause biological drivers of senior hypertension that are almost never openly detailed during a brief, 15-minute clinical visit. Over this masterclass series, I am going to reveal a highly effective, doctor-approved, completely natural protocol specifically engineered to decompress your vascular system, soften rigid artery walls, activate your body's built-in neurological pressure resets, and restore the absolute cardiovascular confidence you need to live life entirely on your own terms, completely free from the continuous fear of a sudden cardiovascular emergency. Before we uncover the profound anatomical secrets of our very first biological pressure reset pathway, if you want to shield your physical freedom, protect your delicate blood vessels, and defend your independent mobility as you age, please click that subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another senior health blueprint here on the Dr. Robert channel. To truly understand how to lower your blood pressure naturally, without shocking your delicate internal organs, we must first analyze the exact trajectory of vascular deceleration that occurs inside the human body after crossing the age 60 milestone. If you are completely ready to break the cycle of cardiovascular anxiety, empty out stagnant vascular channels, and realign your body's internal fluid pressures with me today, please type 1 in the comment section right now. If not, drop a 0 so I can learn exactly how to optimize these deep clinical masterclasses for your personal lifestyle goals. Let's look past the numbers on your digital monitor and examine the actual physical reality of your blood vessels. Human circulation relies on a highly complex, beautifully calibrated network of pathways stretching over 60,000 miles inside your frame. Every single time your heart contracts, it ejects a high-pressure wave of oxygen-rich blood into your largest artery, the aorta. In a young, resilient body, the walls of the aorta and all connecting major arteries are packed with a dense, highly flexible grid of structural proteins known as elastin. Elastin acts exactly like premium ultra-grade surgical rubber. When the high-pressure wave hits the artery wall, the vessel smoothly and effortlessly expands outward, beautifully dampening the structural force of that pulse. Then, as your heart rests between beats, the artery wall gently snaps back inward, functioning as an auxiliary pump to keep your blood flowing smoothly and continuously down to your absolute lowest extremities, your fingertips, your kidneys, and the tips of your toes. This elegant biological process is what keeps your systolic blood pressure perfectly balanced, stable, and low. It ensures that your vital internal organs receive a continuous, gentle stream of nourishment rather than a violent, destructive tidal wave of fluid force. However, as we cross into our 60s and 70s, standard modern lifestyle habits trap our circulatory system in a dangerous physical bottleneck, the gravity trap of silent stagnation. It begins with the hours we spend sitting completely motionless inside soft, plush living room recliners, driving long distances in cars, or remaining stationary behind television screens. When your body stays still for hours on end, the massive skeletal muscles in your thighs, calves, and glutes go completely silent. These muscles are meant to function as your body's primary external circulatory engines. Every time you walk, step, or move with purpose, your muscles physically compress the deep veins running through your limbs, actively fighting gravity and driving unoxygenated fluid back up toward your chest. Without this mechanical assistance, your circulation falls into a state of severe stagnation. Blood begins to accumulate and pool heavily inside your lowest capillary beds. This pooling exerts a massive, continuous backward hydrostatic pressure right up your spinal column and straight back into your arterial network. At the exact same time, because your blood vessels are no longer experiencing the dynamic, pulsing fluid motion of regular physical movement, the delicate cellular structures lining the inside of your arteries begin to undergo deep structural changes. The highly flexible elastin proteins are slowly replaced by rigid, tough strands of cellular scar tissue known as collagen. This is the exact moment where chronic senior hypertension is truly born. Your arteries lose their native capacity to expand. They become completely stiff, unyielding, and calcified. Now, imagine your heart muscle attempting to pump blood into this rigid, lockdown system. When your heart contracts, the high-pressure wave hits a solid, unyielding wall of arterial resistance. The pressure wave cannot expand the vessel, so it violently ricochets straight back toward your heart. To overcome this massive structural barrier and ensure your brain receives vital oxygen, your heart has no choice but to contract with immense, explosive force. It has to push twice as hard, driving your systolic number up into the danger zone of 150, 160, or 170. But there is an even deeper cellular paradox occurring simultaneously, lining the inner walls of these hardened stone canals. This ultra-thin biological lining is known as the endothelium. Though it is only one single cell thick, the endothelium is the ultimate master control center for your cardiovascular system. In a healthy state, your endothelial cells continuously respond to blood flow friction by synthesizing a short-lived, miraculous gas molecule that is the holy grail of vascular health: nitric oxide, NO. The exact moment your endothelial cells release nitric oxide, this gas diffuses immediately into your blood vessel muscles, commanding them to instantly relax, open up, and dilate. This sudden expansion drops your systolic blood pressure down to a safe, youthful level within milliseconds. Unfortunately, after age 60, a vicious molecular process called advanced glycation end products, AGEs, completely deactivates this natural rescue mechanism. When you consume refined carbohydrates, hidden sugars, or processed starch, glucose floats freely through your bloodstream. Because aging muscles naturally waste away and lose their storage docks, this excess sugar has nowhere to go. It begins to chemically bind permanently to the healthy proteins and fats lining your inner blood vessel walls. Think of it exactly like pouring hot, sticky caramel syrup straight down into the delicate internal components of a luxury Swiss watch. The caramel cools down, turns into a hard, sticky crust, and completely paralyzes the tiny gears. This sticky sugar crust coats your inner endothelial cells, completely blinding their microscopic sensory receptors. Even if your heart pumps harder to send blood through your body, your blinded endothelial cells can no longer feel the flow. Because they can't feel it, they completely stop producing nitric oxide. Your vessels stay narrow, clamped down, and in a permanent state of absolute spasm. Your elevated blood pressure is not the actual disease. It is merely the downstream structural symptom of rigid, sugar-crusted, non-elastic arteries and full-body fluid stagnation. If we merely swallow a daily chemical pill to force the heart muscle to beat weaker, we are not fixing the stiff garden hoses further down the line. We are simply starving our vital brain and kidney tissues of the essential blood flow pressure they need to stay alive. To truly lower your blood pressure safely and naturally, we must learn how to resensitize our vascular networks, clear the fluid roadblocks, and restore absolute elasticity to our aging vessels from the inside out. This concludes Fun 1 of our updated Natural Cardiovascular Restoration Blueprint. Your vascular infrastructure is ready to heal, and you now understand the true mechanical and cellular root causes of your elevated numbers. In our next segment, we are going to dive directly into the physical, hands-on, non-invasive corrective protocols. I will reveal the 5 simple at-home physical movements specifically engineered to generate instant muscular compression, release trapped nerve lines, and trigger your body's natural neurological pressure resets right from your living room chair. Stay aligned, keep your foundation strong, and let's move forward together. Welcome back to Fun High of our VMO Masterclass on reversing high blood pressure naturally after 60. We have exposed the structural enemies, the mechanical gravity trap of silent stagnation, and the sticky molecular caramel crust paralyzing your endothelial cells. Now, it is time to put our medical knowledge into direct, powerful, physical action right here in the room. Many older adults assume that if they want to lower their blood pressure through physical movement, they must force their sensitive joints through grueling, high-impact cardiovascular routines that leave them gasping for breath and suffering from deep knee inflammation. But in advanced restorative medicine, we understand that forcing an aging heart to pump aggressively against stiff, locked-down peripheral blood vessels is an immense clinical error. If you force a high-pressure engine to run faster while the exhaust pipes are completely crimped, You do not fix the pressure. You simply run the dangerous risk of blowing out a critical internal gasket. Today, I am going to reveal a highly strategic, low-impact, 5-move at-home mechanical realignment protocol. These targeted movements are specifically engineered to bypass your heart entirely and activate the massive muscular hydraulic pumps embedded deep within your lower limbs. By utilizing precise skeletal contractions, calculated bone angles, and deep synchronized neurodiaphragmatic breathing, we are going to mechanically squeeze stagnant fluid out of your capillary beds, reopen kinked femoral pathways, and force your desensitized endothelial cells to trigger a massive, natural wave of vasodilating nitric oxide. All you need for this protocol is a firm, straight-backed kitchen chair, a clear wall surface, and less than 10 minutes of focused attention daily. Let us break down these 5 corrective movements with absolute clinical precision. Movement 1. The seated, soleus hydraulic second heart pump. This is our primary weapon to eliminate lower leg fluid stagnation and instantly activate the deepest circulatory engine in your lower limbs. The soleus muscle, located deep beneath your main calf muscle, contains a massive web of dense venous reservoirs that modern cardiology literally refers to as the second heart of the human body. The setup. Sit completely tall right at the front edge of your firm kitchen chair. Do not lean your spine back against the comfortable cushioning. Hold your head high, roll your shoulders back, and pull your shoulder blades together to align your posture. Place your feet flat on the floor directly beneath your knees, keeping them perfectly hip-width apart and pointing straight ahead. The execution. Keeping the balls of your feet and all 10 of your toes completely glued flat to the ground. Slowly and intentionally drive down through your midfoot to elevate both of your heels high into the air. Raise them up until you feel a deep, tight contraction locking along the lower half of your calves. Hold this peak contraction for 2 full seconds. The reverse action. Now, lower your heels back down over a 2-second count, touching the floor silently. The exact split second your heels touch, immediately peel your toes and the front of your feet up toward your shins, as high as humanly possible, locking the muscles along the front of your shins, the tibialis anterior. Hold for 2 seconds. The cadence. Alternate back and forth continuously for 90 full seconds. Heels up, toes up. As you pump, imagine your calf acting like a mechanical sponge, forcefully wringing out stagnant blood and pushing it straight past your venous valves back up to your chest. Repeat for 3 total rounds daily. Movement 2. The countertop bamboo Achilles tensor. This movement targets the thick, rigid tendons running down the back of your lower ankle, which act like a physical constriction band that bottlenecks blood flow returning from your feet. The setup. Stand completely tall and proud facing your kitchen counter, a solid table, or a flat wall. Place both of your hands flat on the surface at chest level to serve as your absolute balance security button. Step your right foot backward about 18 to 24 inches, keeping your left foot forward. The execution. Keeping your rear right heel completely glued flat into the floor, and your right leg perfectly straight. Slowly bend your front left knee, and shift your entire torso forward toward the counter. Move forward until you feel a deep, intense, warm lengthening stretch, stretching all the way down your right Achilles tendon and upper calf. The neuro reset. Once you reach that point of deep stretch, do not bounce. Hold the position in absolute stillness. Take a deep 4-second breath in through your nose, expanding your stomach, and as you slowly exhale through pursed lips for 6 seconds, consciously imagine your tight ankle arteries softening and opening up. Hold for 30 continuous seconds per leg. Complete 2 rounds per side. Unlocking this ankle bottleneck instantly lowers the hydrostatic pressure back pressure inside your arterial grid. Movement 3. The seated femoral highway unkinker. This movement is specifically designed to address the mechanical kinking that occurs inside your hip creases from spending long hours sitting in soft recliners, which completely shuts down blood velocity through your massive femoral lines. The setup. Return to your tall seated position at the front edge of your firm chair. Grip the metal or wooden side frames of the seat tightly with both hands to stabilize your pelvis. The execution. Keeping your posture long and your chest proud, slowly elevate your right knee upward toward the ceiling, about 4 to 6 inches clean off the ground, exactly like performing a slow-motion march. At the absolute peak of this movement, flex your foot by pulling your toes back toward your shin and hold your legs suspended in midair for 2 full seconds. The controlled descent. Do not let your foot drop or slap back down unguided. Lower it down with immense control over a 3-second count, placing the sole flat on the floor like you are stepping onto thin ice. Immediately alternate to your left leg. Execute 10 slow, calculated marches per leg for 2 full sets. This rhythmic compression forces the massive deep lymphatic and venous collection hubs inside your groin to pop open, clearing the fluid logjam. Movement 4. The lateral wall-supported pelvic brace. This exercise activates your outer hip stabilizers, specifically the gluteus medius, which control the alignment of your pelvis and prevent your body from swaying side to side. A primary trigger that causes your heart to work overtime to stabilize your center of mass. The setup. Stand tall sideways, next to a flat wall or your kitchen counter. Place your inside hand firmly onto the surface for absolute balance protection. Stand with your feet pointing straight forward, touching each other. The execution. Keeping your torso perfectly upright without tilting your shoulders. Slowly sweep your outside leg out sideways to the side about 12 inches. Keep your toes pointing straight ahead. Do not let your foot twist outward. Hold this lateral suspension for 1 full second at the peak, feeling the muscles on the side of your hip firing tightly. The return. Slowly bring the leg back inward over a 2-second count until your feet touch. Complete 12 controlled lateral sweeps on one side, then turn around to train the opposite leg. Perform 2 sets. Activating these lateral guards gives your body a rock-solid, stable foundation, drastically reducing the hidden sympathetic nervous stress that drives up your baseline heart rate. Movement 5. The seated carotid carina deep diaphragmatic release. This final movement does not target your leg muscles. Instead, it directly targets your autonomic nervous system. It stimulates the specialized neurological pressure sensors located inside your neck arteries, known as baroreceptors, commanding your brain to instantly dial down its emergency adrenaline output. The setup. Sit completely relaxed but tall in your chair. Rest your hands flat on your lap with your palms facing upward. Close your eyes down completely. The execution. Rest the tip of your tongue gently against the roof of your mouth, right behind your front teeth. Slowly inhale a deep breath in through your nose over a quiet 4-second count. Do not lift your shoulders or puff out your chest. Instead, drive the air deep down into your belly, forcing your abdomen to expand outward like a balloon. The prolonged exhale. Hold that deep volume of air in your lungs for a brief 2-second pause. Now, open your lips slightly and slowly exhale that breath out through your mouth like you are blowing through a tiny straw. Extend this exhale over a slow, continuous 7-second count. As you empty your lungs, feel your shoulders drop and your entire nervous system down-regulate. Complete 8 continuous rhythmic breaths. Extending your exhale longer than your inhale activates your vagus nerve, sending an immediate chemical message down your spine to slow your heart rate and dilate your arteries. Executing this complete physical decompression protocol takes less than 8 minutes total. It requires 0 financial investment, introduces 0 strain to your sensitive joints, and can be easily performed while your morning coffee is brewing or during an afternoon television commercial break. By introducing this safe, repeatable mechanical stimulation to your lower extremities, you are actively helping your body clear the fluid roadblocks and retrain its blood vessels to track pressure correctly. This concludes Fund 2 of our comprehensive natural cardiovascular restoration masterclass. Your physical movement template is now completely established. In our final upcoming segment, Fund 3, we are going to pivot our focus directly into the world of biochemistry and natural nutrition. I am going to reveal the exact clinical blueprint of how your body's cellular sodium-potassium pumps regulate fluid volume, and I will expose the unique vegetables you need to introduce into your diet right now to soften your rigid artery walls from the inside out. Then, we will tie everything together with your 24-hour safe living schedule and emergency warning metrics. Stay aligned, keep your foundation strong, and let us move forward together. Welcome back to Funba, the definitive concluding chapter of our VMO masterclass on reversing high blood pressure naturally after 60. We have established the physical blueprint to clear your vascular channels and reactivate your second heart pump through mechanical alignment. Now it is time to shift our focus to the food plate and your daily environment. We must examine the deep chemical and nutritional matrix that dictates the flexibility of your arteries and map out the safety rules that protect your life every single day. Many older adults assume that managing blood pressure through nutrition means entering a lifetime of absolute starvation and misery. They are told to strip every ounce of flavor from their meals, count every microgram of sodium with obsessive anxiety, and live on bland, uninspiring dishes. But in advanced restorative nutrition, we understand that simply avoiding table salt is an incomplete, outdated strategy. If your blood vessel walls are already rigid and crusted with sugar, simply restricting salt will not magically restore their youthful elasticity. To truly lower your systolic pressure numbers naturally, we must look past basic restriction and focus entirely on biochemical activation. We need to introduce highly specific, nutrient-dense plant structures that function as direct cellular keys to balance your internal hydraulics, open your arteries, and protect your home safety. Every single cell inside your body contains millions of tiny, built-in structural engines known as the sodium-potassium pump. Think of this pump exactly like a highly calibrated, two-sided swinging security door regulating your internal fluid pressure. When hidden industrial sodium accumulates from modern processed foods, it acts like a powerful biological sponge, drawing and holding immense volumes of water into the spaces surrounding your tissues, waterlogging your capillary beds, and driving up your blood pressure. To reverse this fluid leak, your body desperately requires bioavailable organic potassium and specific vasodilating plant compounds. Potassium is the biological master key that swings the cell door open, pulling water back inside the cell where it belongs, and sending a direct chemical signal to your kidneys to flush the excess stagnant fluid out into your urine. Let us break down the specific vegetable structures that activate this clearing process. Vegetable Code 1, mustard greens, gaibasan, and the glucosinolate renal reset. Mustard greens contain an elite concentration of glucosinolates and bioavailable organic potassium, combined with a massive dose of vitamin K. The science: the unique glucosinolates and sulfur compounds that give mustard greens their sharp, slightly bitter taste act directly as a natural, non-chemical stimulant for your liver and kidney filtration pathways. It actively prompts your renal system to clear excess extracellular sodium reservoirs, forcing trapped ankle fluid back into your main circulatory highways. Integrate 1 cup of gently steamed or blanched mustard greens into your diet 3 times a week. Vegetable Code 2, crisp organic celery and the thalide muscle reset. Celery stores an exceptionally rare, highly active organic chemical compound known as thalides. The science: the specialized thalides inside celery act directly on the smooth muscle tissue lining the middle layer of your artery walls. Thalides work by gently blocking the influx of calcium into the muscle cells, which prevents them from cramping and constricting. This action forces your tense, narrow blood vessels to smoothly widen and relax. Aim to consume 2 to 3 raw, organic celery stalks every single morning. Vegetable Code 3, the organic crimson beet and the deep hydrostatic flush. The deep red beet is a legendary vascular therapy asset, packed with an incredibly high concentration of inorganic dietary nitrates. The science: the exact moment you digest beets, your body converts these nitrates into pure nitric oxide, NO, the master key that commands the smooth muscles around your leg veins to open and relax. This removes the mechanical vascular roadblock, allowing stagnant blood to travel back up your body effortlessly. Enjoy half a cup of roasted or gently steamed beets with your evening meal. Now, we must bridge the gap between nutrition and your actual 24-hour daily existence. Longevity and perfect blood pressure stability are quietly constructed out of safe, repeatable daily lifestyle defenses. In the fragile hours right before you wake up, typically between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., your adrenal glands release a natural, sharp surge of cortisol and adrenaline. This chemical wave is designed to slowly increase your heart rate and constrict your vessels to prepare your body to stand up. However, for a senior navigating rigid arteries, this morning surge can easily overshoot, driving your systolic numbers into a dangerous morning spike. To defend your system against this vulnerability, you must introduce the 5-second transition rule the very moment your eyes open. Step 1. The lateral awakening. When you first wake up, do not immediately sit up. Remain flat on your mattress, roll gently onto your left side, and take 3 deep, slow abdominal breaths to allow your baseline heart rate to stabilize. Step 2. The seated equalizer. Slowly push your upper body up and sit completely upright on the absolute edge of your bed frame, allowing your feet to hang down flat toward the floor. Count to 5 slowly in your mind. This 5-second pause gives the specialized pressure sensors inside your neck arteries the exact time window they need to adjust your blood vessel tension against the downward pull of gravity, completely preventing sudden dizziness, blurry vision, and morning falls. Step 3. The priming pump. While sitting on the edge of the bed during those 5 seconds, perform 10 quick rhythmic ankle pumps, peeling your heels up and your toes up. This immediately fires your second heart calf engine, driving fresh blood straight back up to your skull before you stand up. While implementing these powerful natural movements and optimizing your daily nutrition will drastically lower your blood pressure, true medical wisdom requires you to maintain an absolute baseline of diagnostic awareness. You must completely memorize these non-negotiable emergency markers. If you ever experience any of these symptoms, stop all activity immediately and seek emergency medical evaluation right away. 1. The asymmetrical leg flush. If you notice a sudden rapid increase in swelling that is strictly localized to just one single lower leg, or bap-chun, accompanied by intense, throbbing pain, deep redness, or skin that feels unusually hot to your touch. This is a classic clinical indicator of a deep vein thrombosis, DVT, a dangerous blood clot trapped inside your veins that requires immediate medical emergency intervention. 2. The ischemic chest vise. Any sudden sensation of heavy pressure, squeezing, tightness, or a crushing ache localized deep behind your breastbone, especially if that pain begins to radiate outward down your left arm or up into your jawline, accompanied by an unexpected cold sweat. 3. The neurological switch. The sudden onset of intense, room-spinning dizziness, a sudden numbness or loss of motor control localized to one single side of your face or body, or sudden difficulty speaking. These are the definitive warning signs of an acute stroke. A critical physician's warning on leafy greens and medications. Because vegetables like mustard greens are exceptionally rich in bioavailable vitamin K, you must exercise high precision if you are currently prescribed traditional blood-thinning medications such as warfarin or Coumadin. Do not make sudden, drastic spikes or drops in your daily consumption of greens, as it can alter your clotting times. Maintain absolute consistency and always consult your doctor. Living your retirement with true dignity, supreme physical freedom, and absolute peace of mind means taking total command of your daily biological choices. By taking control of your food storage, protecting your vascular endothelium, and keeping your internal pumps active, you are securing the freedom and longevity you rightfully deserve. Please take a brief moment right now to comment below with your current age and share which of these 3 fluid flush vegetables you plan to add to your grocery list today. Click that like button, share this vital 3-part guide with a contemporary who is struggling with high blood pressure, and subscribe to Dr. Robert to safeguard your longevity journey. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your foundation strong daily, and I will see you in our next video.